Thank you for the opportunity to talk about my study. Today I'd like to talk about how eye tracking device and brain activity EEG device used for another autism study. Briefly introducing myself, I joined the NIU College of Engineering and Technology in 2016 like Jaejin Hwang. And my research area is ergonomics and human factors. But I frequently work with health science and education. And people may wonder why I study autism. My first 8-year-old son is level 3 autism. So there was kind of a motivation to work on autism study. So quick question, is eye tracking data, which figure is like autistic children's eyes, the pattern? We can easily see how the smiling faces, what neurotypical children look at, it's more focused on nose and eyes, some of the internal face. But this is the right side, how autistic children see it more distracted and all around in the face. So there was a motivation why eye tracking used for autism study. It's a very good way to visualize and analyze attentional behavior. So as we can see in the photo, we can find out specific gaze pattern for individual autistic kids. Also fixation, so which area they stay more than other area. So you can see that like a red color means they stay more in the center area compared to others. Also another key point is area of interest. It's called AOI. You can see the right photo, we can target some of the interesting area, we can define it. That way we can understand how much they are looking at the intention of the target, what we hope for. So that way we can understand how much time they spent, what they was designed for. Dr. Jaejin Hwang showing very good study of autism screening. So our purpose is more like a continuous improvement. After autistic kids are diagnosed, then how we can help them for continuous improvement of teaching or therapy. So we work with the special education and partner with the West Side Autism Therapy Clinic. So we clearly co-design the different learning task and work together. The eye tracker, what we use is, company name is Gaze Point. As you see in this figure, it's like a very small camera with a stand. So there are two versions, 60 Hz and 150. Ours is a 60 Hz. So 150 Hz is more expensive because we can capture more data within a second. So if you have a lot of eye tracking dynamic movement, then higher sampling frequency might be better. And there are 5 or 9 point calibration before we actually do the study. So total price is depending on their level, but it's about $2,000 to $4,000. And this is ideal for desktop setting, which means children or adults are looking at the computer monitor. This is optimal, but if we like to capture eye tracking in real-time surroundings, then eye tracking goggle might be a better choice. So quickly how it works inside the mechanism, it's pretty simple. They're emitting the infrared light source. That's pretty strong light source, but good thing is it's not visible as humans, so it doesn't bother where we are looking at something. So after emitting the strong light, they make a good contrast over our eyes. That way they can do the image detection to figure out where is the pupil center and where is a corneal reflection. So depending on their relative location difference, as you see in the right photo, they can estimate the gaze direction. This is a video I captured by myself. So left one is you can see the 9 white dots appear. Then each subject are instructed to look at the white dot. And right video is the same time how they recognize my eyes. So you can see the green box is capturing my each eye. And if calibration is well, then there will be successful. But if it's not, then we can redo until we see a good calibration result. So this is one of the game we designed, a learning task designed for autistic children. So it's a simple number matching task. So when this is a real-time streaming data, or if we are ask children to match number one to another number one card, we can see how they look at this. So we designed 15 different tasks, number matching or block matching, block sorting, and making some different color contrast, size. So we like to know how these types of things are sensitive to autistic children for their learning. And this is a more in-depth analysis. So now each card is like colored. This is how we define different area of interest. So we like to see how much time they actually spend in the number one card. And also we can see this red dot, we can find out the sequence of where they look at first to the end. And if they stay more in certain area, you can see the red dot is bigger. So that's another way we can evaluate. Next question is EEG. Another quick question, which brain will be more related to autistic brain? So that's why one of the journals, very good study, finding that left one is the neurotypical children. There is a more like a concentrated and thicker line of how they are connected when they think something. But on the right side is, you can see this triangle is much thinner and little more like area is all around there, how they are connected for their neural activity. So why EEG is good? It's one way good non-invasive measure. So we don't need any needle, just the surface contact with the electrode. Then we can capture their electrical impulse. So many studies showing that their electrical impulse from the brain is a good association with the brain function, such as working memory, attention, sensory processing. This might be critical to understand autistic kids' cognition. And also why I look at EEG and eye tracking together. Some of the studies mentioned that they did some machine learning classification and showing by considering both signal, EEG and eye tracking, showing higher performance of classification. So that was one of the reasons we decided to look at this together. So our device is a very, very simple device. It's called Muse 2, only 4 channels. You can see it's an adjustable headband. In front we have a 2 channel and center is like a ground reference channel. And behind the ear there is a rubber channel. So we only have 4 channels capturing. And this price is about $250. But that was originally designed for commercially mindfulness meditation. But now there are a lot of third-party software. They help for doing the research using this device. So why we chose this device? As you estimate, autistic children sometimes very scared of putting something. So we need to very immediate access to their device with the minimal interruption and stress frustration. So we've been doing some pilot study and main data collection. Some challenges, but it's still doable, so we are happy with this device setup. And this is the third-party software we purchased, only $15, called Mind Monitor, because initially they are designed for meditation, but in this way we can find out all the raw data signal using for our research. And it's connected to our mobile app, so instantly recorded data shared with the Dropbox. And this developer is very active, so some of the technical questions, he's very good at responding it. But if we can also customize some data collection, you can stream your mobile phone to the PC. That way we can even capture multiple Muse devices together, or you can design new data collection like a software. So there is some freedom of developing that. So I wear it myself, and this is what we see in the mobile phone. You can see the left bottom, there is some horseshoe images. That's how we see contact is sufficient or not. If this data are over or filled with the color, which means you have a very good contact. If your contact is lacking, then you can see the void over. And if everything is good, then it will just disappear. So that's first to initially check our contact, the quality of EEG device. And briefly talking about our EEG signal typically has a 5 frequency band. Basically, if you see the right signal, depending on your oscillation of the signal, first one is a delta, very slow frequency of signal. It's more like your deep sleep or relaxed. But if you go to at the end, it's a gamma. You can see our signals are very, very busy. So a lot of frequency, which means you tend to have a more like a concentration of doing this. So that way, initial electrical signal, we divide into 5 different frequency band and see how much portion autistic children they're in. Is it the deep sleep zone or just the normal zone or high concentration? So that's how we evaluate. So this is how I open the app, then automatically Bluetooth connection to the device. And there is a 1 second of delay of a connection. Then now we are looking at the 5 different frequency band, the real time, how much portion of the frequency. It was me and I was very relaxing, so mostly like a slow frequency data we could see from my brain right now. And there is a different data streaming button at the bottom. So if we click this button, then it's a real-time streaming data, different visualization. This is a micro voltage, very low, just electrical signal. We can look at over 4 different channels. Or if we look at another visual streaming, this is a frequency band. From left side is a slow frequency, right side is a very high frequency band we can see. And another is a highlight map. It's basically a very slow frequency to a high frequency, but red color means how much you have more data in. So as I mentioned, I was in very relaxed stage. So, and this is another the acceleration of your device we can see. After exporting data, we use Python MNE library. That's a well-known free source library for EEG analysis. So some of the power spectrum analysis we can output. Eventually, we like to compare autistic children and neurotypical children, see what are the differences of their brain rhythms. That way, we design better the teaching resource or the therapy. And this is one of the autistic children. We collected data in the West Side Clinic. So you can see how these autistic children's eye tracking, their pattern is all around when they're doing the game. So we are still collecting the data. That's how our project is right now. That's all from me. So thank you.
When you do this power spectrum analysis, is it like over an entire, can you tell a little bit about the analysis?
Yes. So this part we also work with another professor, Dr. Cho in mechanical engineering, and he is in charge of signal processing and machine learning. So very good question. One thing simple way is each task is like 15 seconds or even 10 seconds. So entirely looking at this. Another version is, as you mentioned, we can see the timeline. So another way, there is a scroll bar. So we move this and real time, we can see this as over time. So that we are considering both levels of interpreting data. Dr. Cho is working on some machine learning data. So what are the important contributors to distinguish between neurotypical and autistic children? That way we can also identify what are the important measures. So we are still working on that right now. Yeah. Eye tracking is also challenging because you cannot move like that. Minimal head movement, so their camera still capturing your eyes. So neurotypical children is typically doing well, but some of autistic children we cannot successfully collect at the first time. So we are doing a lot of building rapport and doing multiple sessions. So it needs a lot of patience from both sides. Given we have 15 different tasks and eye tracking data, the quality of data we see from the calibration, then if that is successful, we are good to go, but sometimes it takes a lot of time. And even 15 different separate tests, some of the tasks, they moved a lot. So we don't really get 100% of the data. That's why we do 5 different task repetition of a different one. So we don't guarantee 100% we can really get it. So it's kind of challenging in terms of how much data actually we retrieve. For the EEG data, first one, what we can only check is their contact to the signal check. If that is good, then we go with another level. But as we know, EEG things, there is a lot of filtering going on. So once we get the data, we need to do remove all about the artifact movement, eye blink, doing the muscle. So it's more like a signal processing. We take the data out. So children are not patient enough, so we cannot do really more like a thorough things and going back. So some of the things we need to like give up in the some data collections. So same data, what we see from the app and what we actually get. Okay. So streaming means we don't save any data. So we need to click record button here. That way we see both streaming and saving data. So this data is equal, but this app also provides some of their internal filtering data, but we don't use that. We better use ourselves. So we just use their raw data, and based on literature review, we carefully consider some parameters of filtering. So we do our own way, but they also provide their way, but we do our own way.